Donald J. Trump and Hillary Clinton, a foaming sleazeball from hell versus an iron lady, hands dripping with blood. The total obscenity of the American dream comes to fruition in Donald J. Trump. "We need a leader that wrote the art of the deal," he declares on his presidential stump. What's wrong is that Trump's best-selling volume on the virtues of property speculation wasn't written by him, but by one Tony Schwartz, now dreading Trump as leader of his nation. The Art of the Deal established Donald J. Trump as the archetypally successful tycoon. Schwartz presented him in the best possible light, striving to hide a poisonous buffoon. "I put lipstick on a pig," Schwartz later would say, when overcome with remorse, for he'd branded Trump as a winning charmer, one that an electorate could endorse. Whereas, in his presidential run-up, the Donald would soon reveal his true colors. "It really doesn't matter what the media write," Trump says, "as long as you got a young piece of ass." Despite self-enchanted claims to be a self-made man, Trump's wealth has been largely inherited from Father Fred, a slum landlord and speculator who was once notoriously prosecuted by the U.S. Justice Department for refusing to rent to African Americans. To do so clashed with the beliefs Fred gleaned from his attendance at KKK rallies. It's said the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, and so the son is true to Fred's prejudice, with Trump's plans to exclude Mexicans with a wall and to make Mexico pay for the privilege. Trump's first wife, Ivana, famously claimed that Trump was a fan of Adolf Hitler, and that he kept a copy of Hitler's speeches, My New Order, in his bedside cabinet. "The beauty of me is that I'm very rich," says the gilded toad. "The point is, you can never be too greedy. My IQ is one of the highest, and you all know it." At the age of 22, Trump had 4 military deferments to get out of fighting in Vietnam. He claimed he had an uncomfortable bone in one of his feet, yet couldn't remember which foot caused the problem. That his millionaire father was instrumental in this great patriot avoiding Vietnam was also the truth, leaving Trump to say flippantly that his personal Vietnam was to have avoided sexual diseases in his youth. Trump's buildings are erected by conning unpaid craftsmen. His Trump University peddles Mickey Mouse degrees. Here's a man who declares war on political correctness, as it stops him from abusing whomsoever he pleases. Foul-tempered and violent, he singles out hecklers to be beaten up or pepper-sprayed by bodyguards.
"Like to punch him in the face, I'll tell you,"
he says of a protester, this Neanderthal and virulently racist blowhard. Now imagine Donald Trump in the White House, conjuring his self-serving lies out of thin air, with his sleek little fingers fondling the nuclear codes. The demagogue grins and mutters, "Do I dare? It's freezing and snowing in New York. We need global warming," is Trump's take on an apocalyptic predicament. "It's impossible to keep him focused on any topic," says Schwartz, "other than his own self-aggrandizement." "All Muslims should leave the United States now," says Trump on a populist roll. The U.S. father of a Muslim soldier killed in action condemns Trump as a black soul. Donald Trump's warmongering rival is little better. a humorless iron lady in hock to Wall Street, who crows after Gaddafi's murder by CIA stooges. She statistically gloats.
Yes, we came, we saw, he died.
Secretary Hillary Clinton's emails show that Libya's plan to create a gold-backed African currency to compete with the dollar was the real motive for NATO intervention. And Hillary's death squad saw the job was complete. Hillary's role in the bombing of Libya as the US Secretary of State led to a body count of over 12,000 and to ISIS's regime of hate. Clinton leaves a trail of more bloody coups, both in Honduras and in the Ukraine. Appropriately, 9 out of 10 US arms makers are generously funding her campaign. When the women's candidate kills women with drones and with cruise missiles, it's hard not to think her feminism's selective, and if not conflicted, then utterly specious. Despite 400,000 civilians being killed in Syria, this neocon Mother Carly calls for more. Unable to mind her own business, she demands regime change, which is code for war. Hillary Clinton's support for the jihadis in Syria would further fuel the Islamic State, now with powerful US weapons and equipment with which to revive its caliphate. She has armed Saudis with sophisticated weapons to carry out genocide in the Yemen. The nuclear option should not be off the table, she has said in relation to Iran. Bill and Hillary's private slush fund, the Clinton Global Foundation, gives only 10% to charity, despite its noble intentions. The Clinton Foundation exists to open the door to the Third World's valuable resources. If corporate interests donate to its crooked coffers, then the Clintons will pressurize world leaders. It's sick to have billionaires or their puppets controlling the future of the species. US democracy doesn't count as democracy, but only as a notifiable disease. In January 2016, Trump said,
I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and I wouldn't lose any voters, okay? It's like incredible.
In August 2016, he was suggesting the gun lobby assassinates Hillary, should they disagree with her choice of justices. The United States empire runs upon state violence, with its million-strong militia, its 2 million in jails, so it's natural for one candidate to threaten another, where money and force rule, and enlightenment fails. Likewise, Clinton is backed by a former CIA director, Mike Morell, who once said, "We should kill Russians and Iranians covertly." He tells the New York Times, "I ran the CIA. Now I'm endorsing Hillary." So, she's backed by a Murder, Inc. neocon for what he calls her important duty. Whatever the candidate's mutual antipathy, one thing is certain. Whoever's president, they'll leave body counts in excess. Each will imitate the faulty mindsets of their predecessors, whose routine taste for mass murder is spun as success.